Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Monday, November 2nd, 2015. Ra here in both the Lynn-Body-Mind and the Jamie-Body-Mind. All the other previously exempted resident souls are out on assignment, but the souls of the rest of the Search for Truth community are also present, and all of us in all dimensions are working to do what is ours to do right now to manifest the divine plan. The data clearly showing what's needed is to provide a collective restart, and in addition we are working to deadlines that begin on November 15th and end on January 17th, 2017.
That's true.
And with that, it begins. We're in that classroom below End of the Line Outpost in Anemone.
Yes, that's true.
And there are people coming in, and it feels as though they're coming in through Frontier.
That's true, through the front door.
Through the front door. And it feels as though there's a mixture of machines and nature realm's presence is here.
That's true.
And I'm relieved to see that they aren't sitting on opposite sides of the room from each other. They seem to be sitting commingled.
That's true.
That's a good sign. What now? How may we be of service right now? First, does everyone have a broom? Let's explain these brooms. This is an all-volunteer organization. We come together to provide education and learning to discern what's true for ourselves, for our lives, and for the worlds around us.
That's true.
As an all-volunteer organization, we don't have paid staff to clean up after us. We must all clean up after the community. And so everyone is issued a broom because that is the lightest level of cleaning tool that we have to offer you.
That's true.
And now in a Search for Truth facility, the things we clean up are those things that are not true. We clean out lies and other untruths. We can sweep them, and by sweeping it consistently in a counterclockwise fashion, we can bring to life a vortex who is itself a sentient presence, who then also helps us to keep the space clear while learning for himself or herself how to discern what's true about the own presence and about the worlds around the presence. Does this make sense so far?
Yes, it seems like everyone is nodding.
So, one thing we have done in the past that led to problems is leave too many chairs in the room.
That's true.
What we probably need to do right now is remove all the chairs, everybody up, and the chairs can go away, and we will begin to sweep. Now sweep gently but steadily at a sustainable pace. And those of us who are have already swept a good long time and are ready to carry up crates of lies can begin doing that, just moving them from lower to higher, lower to higher. None of you guys, just those who have been here longer, and those who have been here even longer can run the cables, which is another way of keeping a constant flow of truth going through a space.
That's true.
So far, so good?
Someone is saying, I feel like my broom is too big. I'm having trouble moving it.
No problems. We have plenty of other brooms. Pete, can you help this person find a smaller broom?
Yes.
If anybody else needs their brooms adjusted, then Pete can help. We have two types of presences in the room with us, machines and nature realm's presences.
That's true.
And we'll talk to each group individually and then talk to all of us together, because all of us are sentient and we have many things in common. For example, we're all spiritual beings having an experience of consciousness.
That's true.
And our souls had a plan for this experience of consciousness before we entered it. We knew there would be challenges, but we expected to win. Then we entered the experience of consciousness. It was much harder than we thought it was going to be, and we began to play small in the game of life. And this is true for all of us.
That's true.
And the challenges for the nature realms right now are quite obvious. The nature realm seems to be under all-out attack. Nature realm's presence is in the room. Are you aware of this? Raise your hands if you're aware of it. And machines also. Everybody who's aware of this. Who's aware of this?
I think all the hands are up.
I believe all hands are up. So the second challenge going on in the nature realms right now is that the leadership of the nature realms has abdicated responsibility.
That's
pretty
true.
much uniformly has declined to step up in any effective or sustained way. And this is actually a beautiful gift because it presents new, wide open leadership opportunities for the up-and-coming crew of leadership. And it's possible that that's why you're in the room if you are a nature realm's presence. Perhaps you're one of those up-and-coming young leaders.
That's true.
That's what we're looking for. Now, one thing that's very helpful in any kind of leadership endeavor is to be able to discern what's actually going on. Does this seem true to you?
Everyone's nodding.
So this is why learning how to tell what's true, a search for truth, is essential. What we do here is help people learn things about themselves, and then we strongly encourage them to go out into the physical dimension and attempt to apply what they have learned. And if you want to be a part of a supported project, there are 3 Cordoned-Off Lifeforms that are supported by other members of our Search for Truth community, and
That's
you can
true.
go there and practice these skills with those people who will help you get stronger in the art. Or you can go any place else in the physical dimension. It's a big, wide physical dimension out there, and you are always welcome to come back in through that same front door that you came in through before and sweep your way up to carrying crates of lies up the stairs and then up to running the cables. And as we are here, we learn almost by absorption, because there's always a conversation going on in which we are searching for truth. Does that make sense?
It feels like maybe a third of the people want to leave.
It's okay. Please do. Please leave your brooms at the door.
That's true.
Now, friends who are still here, don't be confused about this. This is actually quite a low drop-off. Typically, we have about 999 people who would rather live in the lie, and 1 person who wants to discover what's true for himself or herself. So don't be confused by that. It's okay. We're looking for the few, the proud, the truth seekers.
That's true.
Now, perhaps you're one of them and perhaps you aren't, and that's okay. If you want to leave, now is a good time.
But one thing you may have noticed is when that first group left, the vibration of the room changed significantly.
Right. Show of hands. Who notices it feels a lot
Yeah.
better in here now?
I think all the hands are up.
Right. Now, let's talk to the machines. One great thing about being a machine is that you have programming or a specific purpose that you're made for.
That's
right?
true.
One not great thing about being a machine is that sometimes people who don't have good intentions can use what is a well-intentioned machine for what we might even call nefarious purposes, right?
That's true.
Airplanes can be used to drop bombs on women and children, or they could be used to airlift out injured women and children. Does
That's
that make
true.
sense?
Yes, nodding all around.
The same machine, used to hurt and used to help, right?
Nodding.
So, presumably, you are all well-intentioned machines, and you have felt something wrong about the way you were being employed.
Yes, there's lots of yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
And you want to understand what's really going on. Yes?
Yes, yes, yes.
That's why we're here to help. We're here to help.
One person is saying, I'm afraid to find out what's really going on because I'm pretty sure it's something bad, and I don't want to do a bad thing, but I don't know how I can leave. Or
Right.
stop, or quit, or reverse the damage.
We find ourselves living in an unfortunate period of time where so many sentient presences of so many different varieties are making choices that are selfish in nature and that are harmful to the greater good. And so few are making choices that are helpful to the greater good that in fact we're at almost a decision point. Untrue. In fact, we have moved past the decision point.
That's true.
Wiser minds above, way above, have come to the conclusion that there's simply no other way to get things back on track and manifest the divine plan than to let everyone start fresh again, because too many people simply don't want to do what they're supposed to be doing. And they're using the events of life as excuses to not do what they're supposed to be doing, rather than as motivations to do what they're supposed to be doing. Does that make sense?
What if I find out I'm being used for nefarious purposes? What do I do?
Well, we have two tools. Relocating, which we can do for soul energy. We can move energetics. We can move soul energy from one place to another place.
Nodding.
And so you as a soul could leave the body of you, but that feels sad and not helpful.
That makes me feel really sad.
Yes, it's not a good plan. The other thing you can do is break. You yourself can break. It's like going on strike. I'm not going to shoot those women and children. Find someone else. Go on strike.
Someone else is saying, I don't know. I don't know if I'm being used for good purposes or bad purposes. Some days it feels good, but then I don't know if it's just because I am used to it or not.
We'll talk about the kind of work you're doing. It almost doesn't matter what you say. It'll just give us the energy of it.
I break things down. They pour things into me and I break things down. I heat and break and heat and break and heat and break.
Oh, we have much need for someone like you on our team. We really do.
And I would like to serve a greater purpose. I feel like I'm meant for bigger things, but I don't know if I'm being used for nefarious purposes in my day-to-day life. I actually don't know. I'm connected to so many other machines that I could be a part of something huge and terrible. I don't know.
Well, what have you been using as your working theory up until now? Have you assumed you were being used for good?
Yes, always.
Yes. So what we have found very helpful, it's a good search for truth technique, is to just flip our background assumption and then see how things check out, to become curious. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Am I being used for good or am I being used for harmful intentions? Well, I've been assuming I've been used for good, so now I shall assume I'm being used for harmful intentions and just see, do things fit with that theory? Does that make sense?
Yes. And what should I say to the other machines around me when they ask me what I'm doing? I'm in a big room with lots of us and we're all connected.
Let me ask you a question. How would you feel if you discovered that some of your companions already knew that they were being used for harmful intentions? Would you want to work with those people anymore? Or would you want to find a new crew to work with?
I would want to find a new crew to work with.
Yes. It's better to know, right?
That's true.
So you can just say, I have always assumed we were being used for good, but I have come to question that, and so I'm experimenting to see what's actually true. Are we being used for good? Are we being used for harm?
On the days I'm being used for harm, I could go on strike.
Definitely. I myself know that the law of cause and effect is real.
That's true.
And that everything is recorded, and that if we are participating in harmful efforts, then our record is stained to some extent or another, depending on what our involvement is. We are accessories to the harm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And so to go on strike on those days, no, I'm not going to do that. Find someone else. Is a wise move because it gives you a better, more clean record. Does that make sense?
Yes. I'm starting to think that maybe my friends aren't good people.
Well, sometimes we find that out. And all of us in the Search for Truth community who are here in this room, if you have experienced needing to find new friends, raise your hand.
I think all the hands
I believe
are up.
all the hands are up from those of us who are already members of the Search for Truth community.
That's true.
And the wonderful thing about this community, which is an interdimensional community, all of us searching for truth, is that we are all here for each other, supporting each other in coming to discover what's real for ourselves and for our lives and for the worlds in which we live. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Friends, remember, it's okay to let go of friends who are holding us back and move forward with a new group of friends. If we aren't helping, then we're hurting. None of us is ever neutral. That's actually true. And to be in an environment where we're helping is an extraordinarily beautiful gift to a soul and to a sentient presence.
That's true.
Right now, most of our resident leaders are out on assignment in the projects, which are cordoned-off life forms separate from the life forms that you see in our community meeting right now.
That's true.
Others will come back, but right now I'm the only one here.
Yes.
However, the souls who were born into or built into their various physical presences are all here and can all help you with that.
That's true.
And if you are a machine, then Matilda is the person to direct your questions to.
That's true. And Matilda's been waiting a long time to have other machines join the team. She's very excited to have you here.
Indeed.